Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today is another video about Toastmasters and how I stepped into the challenge to do a speech with 1 day notice. So when I went to the training, there's a training program called LACE. I'll put the full word at the bottom of the video because I can't remember it right now, but it is a training for club officers in the Toastmasters program, and I volunteered to be president recently, so I had to go to this training. And the keynote speaker was someone who went from chump to champ, and he became the #1 public speaker in America, the world, I think it was the world, Darren LaCroix. And he said that you need to take every opportunity to practice your skills, and in this case, it's called stage time. You really want to become a comic, so every opportunity you get to go on stage, you take it. So when there was a surprise absence for the meeting, there was an ask for volunteers to do a speech, and I jumped at the opportunity because I know that I need to work on my public speaking. So I said, yes, I'll do it. And then I started researching that afternoon as soon as possible. So this speech is a result of that. It is part of my training program. I had to research leadership styles and present on the various leadership styles. And I had the opportunity to also talk about my own leadership style and perhaps what I wanted to work on. And it was a challenge for me because I needed to do the research very quickly, put together a speech very quickly, and really cut to the chase and add no fluff. What had resulted was I fell into my old habits in public speaking. I have some kind of safe methods and techniques that I use, and it was pretty apparent when I was doing the speech itself. So for my own analysis of this presentation, I feel that the presentation was very monotone because I didn't have enough time to kind of get familiar with the material and kind of put my own personality on it. I basically recited a lot of the material that was in the training program. Really sad to say, but I realized that I do have habits. I didn't know I had habits before. One, reviewing this footage and listening to my evaluator's evaluation. They said that my pacing was good because I wanted to speak a little bit slower, but the problem was I didn't really have a variation in my speech. So I didn't get excited, I didn't speak louder or softer, it was kind of just droning along. And you don't want to do that. You want to keep your audience engaged. And if it were a group that perhaps were not familiar with me, perhaps they would stop listening. So you really need to be aware of varying energy levels so that you can keep your audience engaged, and that is definitely something I will work on in the next presentation. But for this presentation, I wanted to focus on being able to recall the information and being able to present the information without kind of, again, like last time, looking up and trying to figure out what the next line is. And I also wanted to speak slower, so I intentionally prepared a script that would only last 5 minutes. We are required to speak for 5 to 7 minutes. And if I set it to 5 minutes, perhaps 5 minutes, 30 seconds, if I were to speed up too much, I know I would automatically disqualify myself. So that forces me to keep time. So now I'll roll the clip and let you see what my presentation was like. All right.
Hi everyone. Before I start the speech, the concept of stage time is explained by Darren LaCroix because he wanted to be a comedian. So to be a good comedian, you have to start by going up for the first time, being horrible at it, and going up over and over and over again. Over time, the practice will lead to great improvement, but you have to take advantage of every possibility of getting stage time that is available to you. So my presentation today, I agreed to yesterday afternoon and prepared last night. A little bit of a struggle, but I value the stage time and the opportunity to speak because this is a captive audience and you can't go anywhere. So it's a great chance for me to improve my public speaking. So my speech today, please start the time, is it's called The Well-Rounded Leader. So what makes a good leader? A leader is someone we aspire to be. So you have your Gandhis, your Nelson Mandelas, your Martin Luther King Jr.'s. I want everyone to think for a second. You can close your eyes or you can simply look into your mind's eye. Who has been the most influential person in your life? Were they a good leader? How did you feel when they interacted with you? Leaders come in all shapes and sizes. So the person you're imagining could have been a plethora of people. And an abstruse concept that I learned about by going through the training module was that there are leadership styles, and every leadership style has pros and cons. There is no one perfect leader. That would be called a dictator, maybe. And as part of the training module, there was a questionnaire, one of those personality quizzes. I believe we have one as part of our onboarding process. So in that questionnaire, it just asks you questions, scenarios, and you just say if this will apply to you or will not apply to you on a range of 1 to 5. And the results that I got from this questionnaire were very similar to past results that I've gotten before. The biggest takeaway from the leadership style that applies most to me is that I focus on efficiency and productivity. I value that over anything else. And that type of leadership style, according to this training module, is called pace setting, a pace setting leader. Pace setting leaders are always ready to take on new projects, and they're ready to move through them very quickly. Pace setting leaders value team members that are highly effective, highly efficient, highly skilled. And with a team like that, they can progress through projects really quickly, and they are very successful in their leadership style. The problem is, the reality is we don't always have highly skilled members. We don't always have the top tier of talent on our teams. Sometimes we are training someone new or trying to mentor them to grow. In that scenario, the pace setting leader may have issue, they may have frustrations with these members. And on top of that, pace setting leaders focus on high productivity, and that is not sustainable for the long term. It can work well in short bursts, but we all know that if we push ourselves too far over a long period of time, over a while we burn out. So that would be a con for the pace setting leadership style. And beyond the leadership style that applies most to me, I wanted to focus on the results of the exam that showed me my weaknesses. So leadership styles that did not quite apply to me, but like I said, various leadership styles have various pros and cons. So I believe that if you can take the pros and cons from other leadership styles and apply them to yourself, you can become a more well-rounded leader. In the title. So one of the leadership styles that do not apply to me would be the democratic leadership style. So democratic leaders, they involve everyone in the process, they give everyone opportunity to contribute and opportunity to speak, and that really is the antithesis of the pace-setting leadership style, because the pace-setting leader would focus on whatever works. I will tell you what to do, you do it, that's how we get through this quickly. The democratic leadership style is a little bit more slow-paced, and because of that, a democratic leader may have issue on tight deadlines or in a team with less skilled members. So if you have members that are not very skilled and you give them all an opportunity to speak, you may end up burning time. But I still find value in that leadership style because of the communication aspect. Having everyone involved in the process can only improve because when people can contribute, they have higher morale and they're willing to work harder. Another leadership style that I believe would be helpful for me to incorporate is the innovative leadership style. Also contrasted with the pace-setting leadership style, the innovative leadership style focuses on new creative ideas and also letting members contribute ideas. These ideas may not be whatever's set in stone or whatever has been done before, but I believe it's very important to always innovate and always try new ideas because the world is always changing. So if we're set in our ways and do things the same way, we will be left behind. And the drawback of the innovative leadership style is if you are taking too many risks, trying too many new ideas, you may make your team members apprehensive. So if you're trying to do these crazy things and at first they were, yeah, and then after a while, like, maybe not, then you kind of lose credibility as a leader. In conclusion, there are many types of leadership styles. And you may look to multiple leaders or people or role models in your life. Take bits and pieces of their leadership styles. Think about the positive influences they have on you, kind of bring it all together and make your own ideal leadership style. And if you can be well-rounded, you can be prepared for any situation or any team, and you can be a more effective person and a more effective leader. right, thank you.
All right, so from the outside looking in, the speech is pretty standard. Some may say it's pretty good, but for someone trying to improve and nipping at the little deficiencies, there's a few things I would like to work on. So my evaluator said that the pace was good. I didn't really look up to try to memorize things. My presentation of the information was good, and one thing they wanted me to work on was varying the vocal variety so that it's a little bit more interesting, a little bit more engaging. And for me, watching back, I definitely feel like I didn't need all those hand gestures. I have a habit of these hand gestures and stuff. Definitely didn't need all those hand gestures. So maybe minimize that, make it more purposeful. I wanted to step away from the podium a little bit, but I obviously did not. I was kind of stuck there because I wasn't too familiar with information. I wasn't confident enough to walk away and be away from my script. But overall, it was another opportunity to practice, another opportunity to learn. And of course, over time, if you keep taking the opportunities for stage time, you will improve and one day become great. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comments below, what was like the last time you spoke publicly? Did you like it? Was it scary? Is it something you want to go back to doing again? I'm always a proponent of challenging yourself and just doing it over and over and over again. So this whole stage time concept really resonated with me. Please like if you like this kind of content. I'm always trying to put out new self-improvement content, trying to help people become the greatest version of themselves in different avenues such as public speaking, utilizing technology to the fullest extent, and just various avenues of entrepreneurship. All right, thank you. Bye.